Hello and welcome everybody to Risen Rampage or Risen Esports, and this is Mighty Rye, along with obviously here on the Colorcaster. Now, what are we expecting here? I mean, this is Risen Esports week number 2 between DLC Loli and RMT Lunar.
hmm So what I'm expecting to see, this is pre-made 5v5s, right? So I'm expecting to see pretty stacked just combo comps more so, and not too much flashiness. Probably more so just basic picks like basic tanks and stuff. All that, because this is I think the silver, bronze, gold league.
Oh,
So
okay.
should expect more simple. I think they're gonna go for champions just to get the basics down.
So far, I am not familiar with Risen Esports, if I want to be honest with myself here, but I do have the op.gg's for DMT. It would help if Twitch chat could sort of maybe get us, more invested on the players. If there's anyone out there that is watching a friend or a fellow teammate playing right now, if you're on the bench from the sub side. But either way, so we do have the top laner, which is Reese's Pieces, and the OP.GG is a little bit confusing here. I do see like Yasuo, Darius, Pantheon. Pantheon is good, but that's like more into the solo queue kind of style. If I take that to the understanding, but anything like within the meta will probably be like an Ornn, Poppy, or what, like Darius. Yeah, Darius would be good. What else is there on the top side meta right now?
Right now, it's mostly just bruisers and tanks. It's like you said, Ornn, Scion. Darius is kind of niche, especially for 5v5. I don't think it'd be too good, but I think it could work in a league like this, where it might not get as easily punished to be picked into it. Stuff like you said, like Poppy, Cho'Gath, Scion, I think would definitely be more priority though.
Oh, okay, yes, for sure. And by the way, that is not a glitch on our screen or on the stream at all. I believe DLC had to lose out one ban because they have a sub. I don't know if it was an emergency sub or just, they just have someone that definitely caused them one ban, which is not all there. Which is not the end of the world if you lose out one ban. But so far, definitely a little bit of an opportunity or advantage already leading to the red side. And RMT, we're just going through the bans, and Ari gets banned out along with nobody at the moment. Oh, along with the Scion actually. So yeah, that's already one good top laner already banned out there with the Scion.
Yeah, it looks like RMT is just banning out. Looks like DLC's mid laner, just Yasuo, Ahri, Fizz. Definitely trying to stop a snowball, or probably banning the niche picks, because you don't usually see a lot of these in competitive. Ahri might be good now with the Glacial Augment and that build to have an good early game, but they're definitely not looking to play against that. And Shen gets picked up for DLC.
Seems like everyone on the Twitch chat is actually just hinting that RMT is just the better team and all 5 players around as well. So we definitely want to be able to see what goes on around in that point. Now that's also going to be an Ornn pickup here. I believe this has to be an ADC pickup. I mean, why wouldn't you pick the bot lane duo unless you have other plans? Of course, you have your jungle open. You still have your mid lane open, but the mid lane is gonna be flexed if you have if you have that choice to have the last pick, and that is gonna be the Kindred jungle.
So I think Kindred's actually a pretty high priority jungler right now. It's very punishable if you don't know how to play it properly in this meta, but it's definitely very strong and really contested, and you can see it like pro play. It's been banned out a lot recently, but recently it's fallen a bit out of favor, especially if you've been watching Worlds and keeping up with that, just because the Bruiser and Protect the ADC style is coming out. And like I said, the Protect the ADC style Shen and Kai'Sa picked up, and Sejuani. Definitely looking to have a strong front line from DLC to protect Kai'Sa and just be able to snowball through the game.
Yeah, and Shen top lane, if it's top lane, I'm not too sure. I mean, we could see a Shen jungle for whatever reason, but the Senjuani definitely is going to take up that spot. So this is a possible Shen top, or just for sure, surely a Shen top. But yeah, the Stand United comes in a long way. The Glacial Prison, the Arctic Assault to block and to put pressure and lock down targets, such as like the Kindred, and the Lucian is also going to get locked up. So that is a duel between both of the carries here. I am expecting Kaiser to just jump in right into the team fight, and then Lucian is just gonna fire back with his double taps, I guess, with the passive. He does a lot of damage. I believe he builds like Blade of the Rune King, Storm Razor. You know, he goes in a little bit of attack speed, damage, percentage of health, but you know, Kaiser is just gonna beat him to that walk because honestly, Kaiser Killer Instinct already gives her an enormous amount of shield. Not level 1, it's not that big, but definitely when it gets to level 2 and 3, and then on top of that with the Stand United, it's just going to feel like Kai'Sa has 3 entire health bars on top.
Definitely. Actually, I think the Shen might be actually flexed to support position this game, because I know it's a pretty good matchup into Braum, because you can deny the passive, and that'd be really good to stop the snowball with Lucian Braum lane, which could really dominate the laning phase over Kai'Sa, who's not such a strong laner. The second phase of bans just ended. It looks like it's just mid priority and a Fiora ban actually. I think it's just banning out targets. Syndra actually picked up
Ooh,
before the last pick actually.
Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are, and honestly, that's a really smart move since you mentioned it, because Shen was locked in, it counters Braum, and then now they get a chance to actually pick their top lane, because that will be most likely a Shen support if this Poppy gets locked up.
It looks like it is locked in, so we're gonna see Shen Kai'Sa pretty okay laning phase, able to stave back the Braum Lucian strong lane. Still probably gonna lose pretty hard, but if it should keep them a bit more safe through the laning phase. Kind of similar to like a Nami or something, with being able to deny the Braum passive. And Viger actually picked up for the last pick.
I like
DLC Loli.
I like Vigar here because you already have so much, you know, hyper carry potential from the Kai'Sa alone, and now you got an AP caster to also be able to scale up with the AD carry. And over time, if the Kai'Sa strat doesn't work out, eventually it will. And then Vagar, I mean, he's just gonna get stronger and stronger over time in the game. But he is going against a Syndra, so Scatter of the Week versus the Event Horizon. I would have to give my hat off to the Scatter of the Week, because honestly, that's a really long range spell. So, in comparison between Vagar's range to the Syndra range, it looks like Nikki XX Stacks is gonna have to be careful against this lane matchup between the Syndra, especially when it comes to roaming.
I think RMT's draft is actually very strong, because all their lanes enable their jungler to have priority and able to just invade and pressure this Sejuani. And that's a very favorable matchup for Kindred if she can take over and dominate, which the draft allowed her to just have 3 winning lanes. So it's going to be a horrible time for Sejuani to deal with that this game.
Yep, and honestly, we're gonna have to see what the players do, because champion, counters, whatever it is, meta, all that is accounted for, but also in the player skill and teamwork, along with synergy and execution. So we gotta wait until we officially see how these matchups are gonna start with. I wouldn't be surprised if Kindra on the red side starts exactly on the red buff and go for a invade, but you know, could also start standard. There's nothing wrong with starting standard. Blue side, blue buff to Grump, and so on and so forward. Alright, so right now, just to let everyone know, is that spectator mode is a little bit bugged here. So please give us a moment to get back right into the game. So that way, continue our stuff here. But let's talk a little bit more about the compositions, or even that. Obviously, let's give them our predictions of who's gonna win. Not talking about skills or who has a better 5-man experience or level, since I don't know too much about the players themselves, personality or the playstyle, let's just go with compositions.
Yeah, it actually looks like Vygar didn't go the pretty popular augment build, so it's gonna actually really not be able to provide the amount of pressure that could be like had with the new build with the gank presence. And Syndra even took cleanse, so it kind of allows her to use it more sparingly, just to avoid the walls and all that. I think based purely off the draft, since like you said we aren't too familiar with the players, I think RMT's comp is just so much better and like high intensity, like pressure wise, that I don't think that DMT will be able to, or DLC Loli will be able to like hold them back if they get snowballed on.
Yeah, and I like RMT's composition as well because of how strong the early game is. Even though Braum may be a little bit useless to the Shen matchup on the bot side, but it doesn't matter to the fact that Lucian is still a great duelist when it comes to trading or just doing an instant amount of damage as well. We are back into the game right now. DMT are hugging about player to player, just about arm's length of each other, traveling around to the bot side here. But there is a Warden at Tribrush, and you know, they're trying to play it really, really sneaky, but that ward's gonna catch him out soon.
Really good aggressive play. That would be like, this is what they're looking for. They're looking to find like someone to get an easy pick and just snowball into an advantage early, which is what their team looks to do. You can see DLC is definitely like prepped for it though, and just nothing's gonna happen. 3 wards in the same bush, not what you look for.
Yeah, at the same time, wards get lonely, so you got to put in a couple at the same spot, just in case, you know. That definitely counters an Oracle's lens. If someone walks up there with one Oracle's lens as the only person, the vision's gonna stay there. There's no way you're gonna be able to get rid of all 3 wards. You gotta hit them 9 times.
Looks like Sejuani's starting top side. Probably just gonna. You might see Kindred go and invade and try to get advantage on this red buff actually, and just try to put high pressure on the jungle matchup due to like the winning lanes that Kindred has. So we'll see how the pathing goes.
You know what that reminded me when they put those 3 wards down? It reminded me of like a totem pole. You know, like if you were able to stack them on top of each other. But that's some next level updates. And actually, wow, look at this. The Braum passive where the concussive blows is going to be procced up. The ignite is ticking. The heal was saved up by the Kai. So that is really good because if Disguised would have used the heal at that moment, it wouldn't have been as effective and it would have been a waste.
Really over aggressive from the Shen there, level 1. Not having, I think Shen started E. Not having the W to be able to like protect himself or the Q to have fair trades. Pretty unfortunate having to build early flash, which just Kindred's pressuring the bot side already, looking to invade. So you see the top lane trades. Looks like it's just
here we go once again, but this time onto Panda. The heal's gonna be used up. Panda still has flash, and that is exactly what I was talking about. Even though if Braum may be a little bit of a counter from the Shen composition, Lucian's just completely out trading. There goes the flash as well, being traded out. The concussive blows is all the way up. The diamonds are shining, but there we go. It's gonna be procced up, but the tower shot is just gonna be good enough for the kill there.
Yeah, Braum tanks aggro and just seems to forget and just takes 3 turret shots and just dies. Shen getting a good taunt on the Lucian, but might actually just gets traded into and just destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, just being really too aggressive again from the Shen. I mean, he's taking a Winter's Bite, or he's within range of the auto attacks, and then Lucian with his passive is going to be able to easily proc up the concussive blow stacks to get the stun and the extra damage.
And this lane matchup is just Kaisa can't provide the amount of pressure that Shen, like right now in the early like levels, like 1 to 3, that Shen like also cannot, so they're just gonna dominate early. Top's gonna gank by Kindred here. It has a red buff. Flash is up. Probably gonna just flash for the wall and get out. Follow flash.
Yep, here we go.
Looks like
Dance
Mike
of Arrows is gonna get the last hit here, and yes it does, and oh, he's dead. That Kindred is dead, and once again, everyone's just 1-for-1 trading kill for tower kill, or tower death, I would say.
Yeah, I don't know if that was too worth. Kindred actually got her mark off just in time, just to get that passive off, but I don't usually think trading, like, you need to keep alive and stay, like, pressuring the map in this matchup in Sejuani. However, I don't think it's horrible, because Kindred can get items, like, as you see, already got the red smite and the dagger. Probably just going to look to contest every scuttle crab, going straight down bot side right now, as Sejuani backs.
And this is good that Sejuani is backing up right now. I would probably get boots, just because Kindred is a little bit mobile than the Sejuani should be, especially how fast Kindred can clear these camps. Not in comparison to Graves, but still pretty good and decent. And wow, this is going to be a ton of damage on top of the Lucian here. Does have the flash to get away, but definitely very low on health. If he gets caught up with a taunt and Icadian Rain from the Kaisa, then I'm pretty sure Lucian would just die before he even gets a single summoner spell off.
Poppy taking pretty aggressive trade. I don't know if she wins that, because Sion's W, not getting her her shield off from her passive, just kind of even trade. The grasps are definitely helping out a lot. Just trading in.
Oh, this Veigar is getting out traded. Poppy on the top side is getting a little bit out traded as well. Does have the coin for the passive on the extra shield, but Orin is just a little bit stronger there. The brittle effect and the damage, and just a bit too much there. Poppy has health, which does really well for the magic resistance here, just for a little bit against the Orin. But either way, Orin's just taking up full advantage by just being on top of his game right now.
And like we said, the early aggression is really paying off for RMT, it seems. Blowing flashes in every lane and just keeping up high intensity, which allows Kindred to basically have like free pick as to who to gank and who to pressure in this game. And you have to see, Sejuani actually hasn't really been a part of this game, if we're being honest. Like, I think Sejuani's just been trying to farm up and play pretty safe, which is just allowing Kindred to just basically do whatever she wants with this game. Looking to gank top lane again here.
Yeah, and we do see, just to back off, it looked like was thinking about it. Call the Forge God is going to be brought up here, though, and it's going to miss. Reese's Piece is not going to be able to get the follow up there. The flash is there. Oh, the volcanic eruption. The little meteor rock wall doesn't get up fast enough for the knockup, but does not matter. Event Horizon is going to go down here, and that's actually going to be a dead Braum here very much soon. The Stand By Me and the Unbreakable is going to reduce all that damage, but yeah, it does survive the onslaught there.
Pretty unfortunate that Ornn whiffed the Call of the Forge Call, but still picking up the kill, having to both flash though, unfortunately.
Yep, and it seems like Syndra is here, but a little late to the party. Everything's already been done. Everyone has already had their birthday cake and said goodbye. But either way, Syndra's gonna have to just go back to the top and keep winning those 1v1 duels, or just consistently poking down the Veigar. But should be careful, since Veigar is level 7, and that ult is very deadly.
I think that Syndra shouldn't really worry too much about getting these roams off, because I think just the lane presence of Syndra in this matchup should just be enough, and trying to push the Veigar into turret, and roaming around with Kindred maybe. Braum engaging a bit here.
Yep, here we go. That's going to be Ipster on target there, but it's going to just use the ability that helps out block the auto attacks, so that press the attack did nothing even though the proc went off. And Arrow's just gonna have to try to recover some of his health, but right back at you. The Relic Shield is also built up onto the Shen. Here we go, Scatter the Weak, and for the slow onto Bogtog. Bogtog trying to get away, and there goes a Dark Spear, but not in range for the Unleashed Power for a potential finish from Rosen on the Syndra.
Yeah, Sejuani getting caught out on the river on that pink ward, and just Syndra has the priority mid and just roams and punishes. Kindred gets a free Raptor camp off of that. Just slowly building these leads over the enemy jungler that her laners are allowing. It's It's really helpful. Oran's getting this fat wave top lane. Jealous right now. Just gonna be picking up this. Oran doesn't need to do too well in the laning phase, about 20 CS down. But since Oran's utility with knock-up slows, with the Color Forge God, all that, this is all you really need to do is just survive laning phase. Don't get too far behind, you'll be set.
You and every other top laner that is watching this game right now was just drooling over that fat CS on the top side, you know?
Yeah.
So make sure you guys bring a couple of napkins there for just to clean up, draw off the mouth. So yeah, I mean, keeping up with the CS is very important. So that's why I'm thinking Reese's Pieces is going to suffer a little bit because he's the only person on the side of RMT that has not, you know, had either keeping up with the CS or a little bit of an advantage. He's about 20 CS behind, and that's without dying too. So I have no idea what happened there. Maybe last hits are not working right now, but we'll see how that goes in the long run.
Yeah, Kindred's up here pressuring again. Poppy's flash is back up. Probably nothing's gonna happen. This might be a 2v2 skirmish up top side if the joining comes up right now.
Yes it will, because Poppy's coming up, and that's gonna be the block as well, and it seems like another fight is happening onto the bot side as well, but the top is gonna be redirected back again. Call the Forge guy is gonna miss. Lancer's fight is actually gonna finally finish up here. SMJ is gonna have to try to get out of here. That's the Stand United as well, and Kindred is trying to get away. One more hit from the Sejuani's mallet, but it's not gonna be able to do so as the ball and chain is not in range, and that is gonna be Bogtalk just chasing for way too long there, gets taken out. But the only person that dies from the side of RMT is Reese Pieces, as he was left alone back there at the fight.
The Shen ultimate being really big. They're bringing a third member in, not respecting the ability to have that member come in and just like a fat shield, be able to impact these topside fights. Just gets them a bit stronger in the game for blue side, who's been losing all these lanes pretty hard.
Now, right here, I was going to say, because of the Shen being the support and having to leave all of a sudden and doesn't have the teleport to come back into the lane, potentially if Arrow and, sorry if I can't pronounce the name of the AD carry, maybe obviously can help me out here in a little bit, but Lucian and Arrow could have, you know, definitely 2v1 that pretty easily on top of the Kai'Sa, or at least proc those summoner spells. And actually, here we go. That's going to be the Killer Instinct as well. Arrow does have Flash, but the Unbreakable is going to be good enough, and the Unleashed Power is going to be unleashed here on top of Nikki. And as the Veigar is going to get taken out, Flash wasted.
Yeah, Veigar just can't really like contest this lane at all. And Syndra taking Cleanse, he really has no way of really contesting laning phase. Just needs to be able to scale up, and Syndra just being able to punish that now. Even though not really doing too hot in the CS department, but punishing and denying like bit of farm by getting that kill is always good, and getting yourself a bit ahead.
Yep, and not in range for a Primordial Burst, but, you know, if I was Veigar right now, I think I would probably at least done 1 or 2 of my ults, even though it's not a killing kind of or guaranteed instant death, but getting 10 AP stacks, I believe, if you get, or throw down your ult and hit a target.
Yeah, looks like Kindred's invading, going towards mid again. No flash on Veigar.
Oh, here we go. Vey is gonna put up the damage. Scare of the week under the tower, and the that's gonna be good enough as well. I think that was the burn damage from the red jungle item, and Bogtalk is gonna get cut up here. He's gonna Arctic Assault the other way. Seems like this is gonna be a pincer move. The taunt is gonna miss. Glacial Fisher is gonna get the slow into this corridor as well. This guy's Panda has to be careful here. That's the proc, the PTA on top of the concussive blow as well. Keeper's Verdict gets interrupted by Rosen from Syndra, and that is gonna be a killing spree for the Kindred here. Dragon is available.
Braum with a really good, I think that was a 3-man ultimate, really just played that fight so well, got a passive procs off on everyone. Lucian was just able to keep on hit and just getting, Ornn's getting engaged on again actually.
Yep, and this is just Reese's Pieces. He is the Ornn. There goes the Permafrost from the 5 stack, and the Call of the Forge guy is coming down, but it's completely the other way, but you can still bring it back from the backside. Bogtalk is going to go down. Hipster is going to get hit by the Scare of the Week, and the synergy and execution from RMT is proving us wrong.
Yeah, really good. Call of Forge got still up, just able to turn that fight. Very aggressive by DLC to go for that play just after their team basically just got swept in the fight. And knowing all the enemy team was still down there, it just gets turned on and punished really hard.
The only time being swept will make me cry is that movie from Castaway. You know, where he starts crying out, "Wilson, Wilson!" That did not leave me in tears. That left me with a smile because it was so well executed. Not giving Hipster a chance to get away. Bogtog just, maybe a little bit of an overcommitment there, but either way, that's still really great follow from RMT. Arrow's actually going to catch on to SJN, but I don't think the Lucian is in range to even keep up with the attack there. There goes the Unleash power once again. It's not low enough, but still.
It's just the constant pressure that's getting put up allows Syndra to roam. Syndra looks like she's going to go pick up that blue buff now, finally, and just be able to continue putting this pressure on. Looks like they're probably going to look to start the pressure towards Rift Herald, as Kindred's roaming around trying to get towards mid lane. Poppy actually walks into them.
Yep, and look at this advantage. I mean, they're just going to bully SJN right under tower. Sure, the towers before were doing a lot of damage, but now it's not enough to keep RMT away from just these little dives that they're doing.
Yeah, and having to blow the Shen ultimate, that's on a 3-minute cooldown now, so you just play Sejuani getting melted down.
Someone left the heater on. Yeah.
Kindred looking. Sejuani actually might just run into Kindred here and just get picked off. Oh, caught on a ward. That's good ultimate.
Glacial Prison, enough to get away. Gonna get the splash back at you as well, getting out of range of Event Horizon. Yeah, and actually, wait a minute. Oh, 3-man top from Hipster as well. Glacial Fisher is not gonna land on anyone, but this guy's Panda still decides to walk on ice and die.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone was ready for that taunt by Shen. Just didn't really do much. Kind of baited blue team into thinking they could take the fight, which was pretty unfortunate for them because they were not prepared for something like that. And they can't really contest at this point in the game. Everyone's just so far behind. About a 4K gold lead now. Looks like they're going to secure Rift.
Yeah, and you mentioned before, I mean, RMT at this point, they should just get the Rift Herald. I mean, they are just so far ahead. 4K lead, indeed, 4,000 gold lead. The Rift Herald is one of the many ways that DLC can get back into the game, besides, the obviously getting the Baron Steel, winning these next team fights as well. But look at how aggressive they are. Look at this. Call of the Forge got pushback from Scatter of the Week as well previously. Unleashed Power is unleashing hell on top of everything. Primordial Burst is available, but does not want to get in range. Oh, no, it wasn't available. I apologize. But still, a 2-for-1 trade and a Rift objective taken for the side of RMT.
Yeah, these constant fights are just so good for RMT at this point in the game, since every champion on blue team needs a bit of time to scale. Kaisa, Vigar, Poppy even a bit. They need these extra the early 20 minutes just to be able to stay in the game and stay strong, to be able to come and impact the game later. And just getting so far behind, the gold lead only being 4K at that point means a whole lot more than it would to an even early aggression team.
Yeah, this guy's Panda, can't farm, can't do anything anywhere without this Kindred just roaming around and constant invading the jungle. So we definitely did see that in action. The Kaisa cannot win the 1v1 duels, does only have the Storm Razor on top of what the Kindred has, which a little bit more of an out duelist as well. But either way, yes, I do honestly believe that as well. I mean, I'm 100% sure. I'm 100%, backed into what you mentioned before, obvious.
Also, they still have the Rift Herald to use, so they can just keep on snowballing this lead. They can get more turret gold, more team gold overall. And then Dragon's coming up actually in about 1 minute. It can be an Ocean Dragon. And that'd be even better just to deny so they can keep up high pressure and intensity around the map. And be able to stay and sustain a bit more.
Right now, it seems like this is actually the first time DLC can just sit in their jungle and get a couple of farm and also delete a couple of warding that RMT has done when they invaded last time. So I believe they're a little bit back situated once again. A lot of hectic fighting happened consistently. SJN is trying to get into the mid here. Could potentially get for the flank as well. Keeper Verdict is available, but because of everyone trying to get Rosen on the mid, there's no one here on the top defending this tower, and a potential 3-man push here from RMT.
Rift Herald getting put down top too. Looks like they're just gonna try to hold mid.
Yeah, Reese's Pieces and Rosen is going to be able to hold this mid, maybe push back the Shen, maybe even push back the Kaisa as well. Vey is on the side of the Wolf Camp right now. Bogtog has caught up, and that's going to be the damage over the wall. The Dance of Arrow is just going to be good enough here, and there it goes once again. Syndra with the max amount of damage goes over the wall for safety. Disguise Panda is going to go down, and this is Vey going down as well, but still 4 members strong from RMT, as Shen is going to follow suit here very much soon. Glacial Fisher is going to miss, and that's some good happy feet there from the Poppy to just avoid certain death, just like his other fallen unsung heroes as well.
Yeah, Vaya with a really good Lamb's Respite, keeping him alive and in the fight long enough to delay for his bot lane to just show up and be able to like clean up the rest of the fight, leaving it to be, I think that was a 3-for-1?
Oh yeah, 3-for-1. Yeah.
Just pressing his mid turret.
Oh, heroic charge towards the wall, and still Reese's Piece is not able to get in. Void Seeker cuts a little bit short there. Reese's Piece is definitely tanky enough to tank some of that tower damage and just walk towards the Drake right now. Now, if DLC starts up the Dragon, I believe DLC should be able to contest this because of how fairly low everyone is. No mana on the Lucian, no ults as well. A couple of ults not there, but still, I mean, respecting the fact that they are still ahead of the game, they're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, you're going to look to see RMT look to get I think go for this Baron play here and set Ornn assignment to bot lane, and just TP and try to make a play and just finish this Baron and end the game as soon as possible before Kai'Sa can get her second item, before Veigar can really like come into the game. So 20 actually taking blue from Veigar at this point in the game. Not ideal, I think, but not too big.
Yep, and this game is still far from over. I mean, even though with disadvantage, we don't see any inhibitor pushes yet in 21 minutes, but the Baron is up and available, and it's already looking in favor for RMT here, as this is looking to be a 2v3 right at that corridor where the Event Horizon completely covers that small amount of space, but no one from the side of RMT is going to fall for it. Bogtog is out of position here. Scatter the Weak is just a bit short there. Shen is still going to go in as well. Veterans is going to land on two. There goes the Clint as well. Flashes are coming in. Lance Respite is available. They could use it right under the tower shots right here. The teleport is coming down. Here comes the Poppy pushing out Babe from his own ult. Gets the kill as well. Unleash power. Just the last few Dark Spears is good enough for the kill. And as Reese's Piece is falling as well. Oh, that's a ton of damage, but not enough burn at all. Leandre's is not built up. And this is Bogtog and Nikki barely surviving that fight.
Yeah, not too good of a trade. Actually throwing a bit of their lead there for RMT. Trying to over-aggress under a turret mid lane and just gets caught out. Kindred just jumps out of her Lamb's Strike just a bit early and takes turret shot, and Shen Ignite just dies. Then just continuing to overdive.
And it is very important that on the side of RMT, they had to risk, they shouldn't have risked dying there because of the killing spree changes, or how much amount of gold you get depending on how, you know, much of dominating player, or I don't know how to say this, obviously.
Yeah. Giving away these like large shutdown goals, especially with Kindred dying, is just not ideal, because you don't want to like give them any chance of getting back in the game with their comp. Poppy just cleaning up, just over aggression again.
Yeah,
it's just these small throws.
Tries to rob Poppy, but ends up being slammed by the vault door there. But here we go, Nikki. Ooh, no, nothing. Does get the stopwatch down. Stand United is on top, but it's not going to be enough to absorb or to mitigate a lot of that damage. There goes the flash as well, just a little bit more damage. Colifor's could potentially get the kill onto Bogtog, but it is going to miss here, and potentially RMT can stick around push all the way to the inhibitor right now. Vey is pretty good on health. The Braum is back up. No teleport though, but could just run it down mid.
Yeah, they're just trying to force all these fights. I think they just need to focus on getting these small objectives instead of forced fights. Poppy's getting caught again, but Kai'Sa's coming in.
Heck, and Kai'Sa does have a bit of damage, but oh my gosh.
Just obliterated.
And here we go, another team fight here in this narrow corridor, and it's just Reese's Pieces and Vey, as everyone else is on the backside trying to pick up on Nikki. Nikki is actually about to die here on the off screen, so right now, Reese's Pieces just being Ornn, so tanky, it's going to take a while to just kill this tanky Ornn. But either way, not in favor of RMT right now.
Yeah, RMT, early game, like, champions early game lead, just throwing it away by these like small, like kind of, I'd say kind of pointless skirmishes, like deep in their jungle. Vigar had TP'd behind them already. It was just seemed like the comms are so split. Like Vigar TP'd behind, just try to pick off Syndra, and then Vi and Reese's Pieces just go in 2v3, 2v4, and just get caught randomly.
If RMT keeps throwing their lead, do you think DLC will be able to win this? They do have Kai'Sa and Veigar, which do really well in the outscale.
I think they 100% can definitely still win this game. Early game wasn't looking too hot, but they have such a strong front line with Shen, Sejuani, Poppy, that they can easily come back into this game if they keep on giving them these small like throws. Poppy catches up, sees where Kindred is finally. This could be really interesting, because if Kai'Sa gets blown up in these fights like she just did, we saw, they're between blue side buff and mid lane, then it's gonna be bad. And Shen's not actually just didn't build like anything like a Locket or a Zeke's, rushing for actually a Randuin's Omen, which I don't think was a really good item. They really don't have any like consistent crit damage on RMT's side, so I'm kind of confused on that buy.
Yeah, I mean, reducing crit damage makes you a lot tankier, and there isn't any, just a rapid fire cannon, and that's only like what, 40%? No, 30%. So it's not enough to be consistent crit one auto attack after the other. But you know, maybe he just did it for the slow. But I gotta agree with you. A Locket giving more extra shields, especially for the Kai'Sa to survive in these team fights, or even that the Veigar to survive the unleashed power from the Syndra, sitting on almost 3 items here: a Luden's Echo, the Morello's, and a Blasting Wand. You want your only damage on your team to survive, and looks like Ipser is gonna get caught out here. Oh, the ult from Syndra.
Oh, really over like extending there between mid and Baron while your entire team's pushed out, except for your Poppy. But you have C3 mid there. You go into a 3v1 and just get caught, and it's just giving back the throws. It's just back and forth. And they're gonna look to go for Baron here.
But the same thing for RMT. They wasted 3 ultimates on top of the Shen there. So now I don't think they can actually contest the Baron pit because their ultimates are so much of a big deal here. I mean, that's 2 burst ultimates down and 1 that gives out CC and slows as well. So I wouldn't try this at all. I mean, if Poppy gets in there on the side and no one's able to stop her, she can keep her verdict everyone inside the Baron pit and take the Baron themselves.
It seems like they agreed with you there. It seemed to back off and just realize that this might not be the best time to go for this. And also notice the Rage Blade finally finished on Kai'Sa. Gonna be huge in these fights, and gonna actually really put some contention into the game on these fights, having finally somewhat caught up in like items, as compared to Lucian, who's basically 3 items done already.
I mean, I'm way more scared than the 2 item build Kai'Sa than the 3.5 item build Lucian.
It's just if this Kai'Sa can get going. Oh, Call of the Forge got going on Vigar.
Yep, and let's see how many more ultimates they are gonna use to get the kill here. But this is gonna be Nikki going down. I wouldn't say for, yeah, you know what? I would say for no reason. I mean, he was way too far up, farming the lane, does not have any tier 1 or tier 2 towers. Right now, SJN, he's doing his best by split pushing, but no one from the side of DLC is actually going to respond to this Baron take. And wait, a far side? Oh, okay. I thought that was DLC's far side ward, but it was actually RMT's. Yeah.
Yeah, just looking. They knew they couldn't really contest that Baron at that point. Just looking to contest turret damage, get some damage down, and just see what they can do with all that. It's just, I think at this point they're just gonna use this Baron, and just snowball through the game, and try to just force a fight around a wave or so. Braum really aggressive.
Yeah, it's gonna get caught out here just a little bit. The Unbreakable though. Oh, that's gonna be a good Glacial Fissure as well. That is gonna be Disguised Toes. I mean, Disguised Toes. Wow, there's the Panda going down, and SJN is gonna be here for the follow-up. Imster comes in with the, you know, Stand United. Actually saves the Poppy from, you know, certain death here for sure, and instantly that is 3 members on the side of DLC down, and this is not a huge wave here at the bot side, but still big enough to get this push going. And oh, that's a great timing on the last respite there. The culling is gonna go wild, but it's not actually in a good angle to get the last hit.
Oh, just barely.
Yeah,
barely lives. Like we said, the Barons, they're just gonna push down now. These small fights, everyone's so far ahead. Lucian, I think, let me check the gold lead here. Lucian looking about 4,000 gold lead on his lane. Just so strong, just gonna force down these turrets. Not really much they can do, to be honest.
Yep, and here we go. Still a little bit of the fight. Bogtail, oh, Bogtog is going to go down all of a sudden here. That's going to be the block already rendered, and Bay is going to get the last hit for the kill here. And RMT is looking to push for the end here. No more going back to base. No more going back to the shop. That is the last time we go and buy, as they are just going to try to finish off here for RMT. Disguised Panda is going to go down. Event Horizon does a really good stun on most of the members here from the side of RMT, but no one is able to stop the siege minion that is doing the damage, and another siege is actually coming up right behind. Good shutdown kill from Nikki, but I still believe the pressure is still on within the Nexus Tower, and that's going to be one going down. AD carry is not available, and a 2-man Event Horizon, a Primordial Burst is just going to get the shutdown on top of Rosen.
These Event Horizons were actually so good. Catching 3 people in the first one, picking off Kindred, and then just catching the next 2 in like 10 seconds later, just killing off everyone solo pretty much. Just saves them in the game a bit more.
Yep, really, and Minions on the top, they actually, you know, banded together. Our champions need help on the Rift. Let's unite and, you know, revoke against the red team and take down that inner top tower. They went up there with torches and pitchforks, you know?
They were like, we're tired of this, we need something, alright? Let us help you.
It's about time, though. It's about time these minions do something. Look at us, we're suffering here.
Finally redeemed. It's just gonna be a pretty quick reset, though. I think they have to. RMT has to throw pretty hard at this point, if I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, this game has extended, you know, by a good 10 to 15 minutes extra when it wasn't necessary. They had a really huge advantage there. All they had to do was stay grouped up. Don't dive, you know, don't have to dive, or even that, group up and get picks all together. But most of the times they weren't all 5-man group, so every single picks was just like 1v2s, 1v1s. But here we go. This is actually a little bit of a perfect example here. RMT is not in position to get this fight started, but they still are gonna extend this team fight as well. Everyone on the side of DLC has made it back under the tower. This GA might be procced for no reason. A Void Seeker from the back from this Disguised Panda is gonna proc the GA off of Bay. But that is also Nikki going down from the Veigar on the side. And oh my gosh, that Sinjuani just takes a huge amount of damage. And Ipster, with all care in the world, throws down the Stand Unite to make sure that Bogtalk doesn't die. But he still has to go back to the fountain to get a full health recovery. But out of the way, this is going to be a super minion push here. Only one Nexus Tower to go down. Bogtog is trying to do something onto the right side. SJN is looking for a good position for the Keeper's Verdict whenever it comes up, but it is on cooldown. Here comes the full damage there. The pullback. Ipster is going to be the first one to go down. Disguise Panda will follow up as SJ. It does not want to leave, but it's going to be forced back to the fountain. But that is, yes, he does live barely, and Bogtog on a fresh timer to the gray screen won't be able to come back to color, as this is game number 1 to RMT.
Yeah, just early snowballing, just some back and forth throws, but in the end, they're just so far ahead. And just at the end, they're about 13k gold ahead. Just so far ahead, just able to snowball out of control. Lucian dominating that game and just taking over and just destroying lane, just taking over. It's really good.
We mentioned that they threw away their lead a little bit. It actually didn't take that long to gain it back all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just the small skirmishes. It was just back and forth throws. After each time RMT throwed, DLC was just like, hey, you want come get some? You want some more? And then they just die, and it's like, oh, okay, didn't mean for that one to happen, but just the constant like fights back and forth. Just they weren't ever in favor of DLC, so they didn't get to like catch up from the small throws. If they just didn't throw back, it would be perfect, and they maybe could scale a bit more. But just like there's just so much lead in like the bot side, and you're gonna want to see this. I think this is a best of 3 actually. You're gonna want to see something like more like aggressive from DLC because they just kind of like, especially from the jungle matchup. The jungle matchup just seems so outclassed in that early game because Sejuani just couldn't do anything. They drafted 3 losing lanes. Sejuani isn't really an aggressive jungler who can enable that, and just gets like out like classed overall pretty much. Set up to be a bad time for the Sejuani at least.
Yep, and Panda, on the side of Kai'Sa, sure, it is a hyper carry, but if you don't get those crucial items, which actually the Rage Blade and the Storm Razor did come in, just, far too late to actually be able to be impactful in the game, because Lucian was already sitting at 3.5 full items at that point. So eventually, he gets the IE, and yeah, now the constant crits are start coming down, but the random and omen on Ipster still doesn't do too much because it is a balance of armor and health, and yeah, Lucian just happened to be a balance of shredding people's health and shredding people's armor and giving them true damage at the same time, with the Black Cleaver, the IE, and the Blade of the Rune King. So let's go ahead and go into the damage charts here. I want to see the comparison between the bot lane.
Oh, it looked pretty thrashing, about a bit over double Kai'Sa's overall damage. It's just so far ahead, and just like you said. Also, I think they really need to focus on just itemization and learning how to like be able to protect that hyper carries that they drafted. Veigar, Kai'Sa. Shen actually didn't go for any like supportive items, going for like you said, a Randuin's, was building a Spectre's Cowl. Looked like he was getting building into an adaptive helm actually too. Just not set up to like protect. You usually look for a Zeke's, a Knight's Vow, something like that, and just not protecting those carries, which is the main point of Shen, to be honest.
All right, so that's about it of our analysis so far for game number 1. Do not go anywhere because this is a best of 3 here between DLC Loli and RMT Lunar. So don't go anywhere as we will be heading to game number 2 here soon.